Hey everybody, my name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their community that educate, entertain, and inspire all things Florida real estate on how you can take your company to the next level. On my show today, I have the wonderful CC Underwood. She is the seeker of awesome. She is super mom. She is super realtor. She knows everything about all real estate. She's been doing it in the Northeast Florida market for probably over 10 years. And when she had first started, it was kind of in that 08, 09 period. I saw her post yesterday about when she first started, and she knows I'm paying attention. But she is amazing. When we first met, we were hitting it off. She was like, let's meet, let's do this. How do we tackle this? She is an action taker, and she is a force when it comes to real estate and getting a team together. And she has her own team with KW, but she is amazing. And on my show, she is here. So CC, welcome to the show.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me, Al.
Of course, I had to have you. I was like, how do we fit you in right before the end of the year? Because we are going to be unraveling this whole show as the year starts. And I know you have a team together. You're always looking for people. You are the force in the Northeast Florida market. Everybody knows CC in the investor, the realtor world. So you have to be on. So CC, tell me your background, about yourself, your story, how you first began. I saw that post, like I said yesterday, and I was like, wow, she started like right when that foreclosure period hit. And it's like, you got the short sales, you got the mortgages. Where did this all start for you?
All that, people ask, they're like, oh, you must have like some financial background as your family in real estate. No. I saw an infomercial. And I think like a lot of people, right? The infomercial, it says, get into real estate. It's cheap, it's fast, and you're gonna make a lot of money. And that spoke to me as I imagined it would speak to a lot of people. A lot of people are getting in the real estate business right now also. So I did, I signed up, I took a class. I started part-time in 2007, and it was tough. It was foreclosures and short sales where, your average sale price was like $100,000 and you had to wait 7 to 12 months to get paid from it because of the short sales and the things that were going on back then. So as I always say, there where people flee, I will go. That is my business mantra. And for whatever reason, I noticed people around me getting out of the business. Realtors, like top producers, are going, no. They're telling me stay away from that. So through that and over the years, I've learned that people are saying go away. I'm like, oh my God, buddy, there is less competition there. That's where I'm going to go. And built a short sale business. People were calling me the short sale queen after I did one. I'm like,
wow.
So that was cool. People would just send me short sales, and slowly grew as the market changed, grew a team, got into investors, working with a lot of investors, and then a future, the equity sales, which we've been fortunate enough to have this market for a very long time now. And now I have a team of 10 people. We have admin agents that work with us, and we're growing, going to sell about 300 homes this year, which is crazy. It's great.
Wow. So you're on pace for record numbers. You are doing better than ever. I mean, so when you had first started backing up into that era, you were becoming the short sale queen, and short sales were all over the place. And then we all came out of that market eventually, 2015, 2016, the market's on fire and you're building your team. We'll talk about your team. And we'll talk about all the other things backstage you wanted to talk about, which were the rent owned, the home renovation, and all the market stuff in Northeast Florida. But back then in 2015, things are heating up, and all of a sudden you're used to that short sale era. You're used to that market tanking back then. And then the pandemic hits in 2020. The market's on fire in February. Then early March hits, everybody's getting a little worried. CNBC and all the other shows are like, wait a second, what's happening? And then the next thing you know, March 17th hits, shutdown happens, hedge funds back out, contracts get canceled, everyone's claiming COVID. What were your initial thoughts then? Was it like deja vu for you?
In a sense, it was, that's not an option. Like, to do nothing is not an option. And so when that happened, I would say after the first 30 days of people of that initial, what we're going to do, what's going on. It was, okay, we can't live here forever. It's been 30 days. I'm over it. I'm extremely impatient. And so I sent a message out to my team and I said, doing nothing is not an option. We had 10 public events planned this year. They were all canceled. I'm not going to not communicate with my people for the next year because of something I can't control. That's not the world I live in. So we instantly took action and we said, all right, how can we communicate? How can we stay in front of people? And we came up with this entire virtual events where we were staying in front of face to face with all of our customers. We're checking on them. We're calling them. We're making sure that they're okay financially. If they need anything, right, having care calls. And then it was, hey, let's get some bingo nights. Let's stay in front of our people. We had a cooking class, right? We were bringing some positivity and sanity into people's homes, which they needed. And it also kept us face value. But while that was going on, something to note, like a lot of other businesses, people were at home. They were rethinking their lives. My kids were at home. They were trying to finish school and do whatever we could. So that was a business disruption. And at the start of the pandemic, we had 20 people on our team. So you heard me mention now I have 10. We had an extreme mass exodus of people on our team that were both employees, salary, 1099, as well as producing agents, high producing agents. So it wasn't like things were all rosy in my world. It was, I chose not to have those things affect me, which is why we still had a record year with all of that change. I mean, top producers left my team to go start their own business. And I'm thankful for that because really what the pandemic brought was people to go ahead and make decisions faster. Those decisions would have been made, in my opinion, in the future. They just helped to make those decisions faster. And I loved it.
Wow. So yeah, because we'll talk about you as the team leader, and you are a leader. You are, you have that whole team under you, and it's amazing. You don't just see it as a real estate lead. You're looking at it as really professionally and personally helping people grow. And that's why you had that team there, and you're always helping people. So what COVID did for you was it helped you with the people you're mentoring. They kind of did their own thing, but you're still doing record numbers. How are you keeping up with the record numbers, but with a smaller team?
Mm. I mean, I think people have seen in like you said, with short sales, my business has always changed, whether it was short sales or a system or the people. So change is our only constant. You have to be ready to make changes with them, though. You have to have not necessarily plan your plan B, even though that's great to have, but you have to be willing to take action. And so when you have that kind of positive mindset of, all right, I can't control, right? What they did was their choice and it was best for them. And I believe 100% what's best for someone on my team, even if they choose to leave, if they believe it's good for them, then it ultimately is going to be good for our business. So some people would say, oh my God, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I said, you know what? Now I have an opportunity for the people who stayed, who believe in our team and believe in our organization to step up. And that's exactly what happened is they now saw an opportunity where they could shine on our team. And so we were able to do more with less people because they were committed and everyone just took care of each other.
I was going to say, because the load had to have shifted
Mhm.
to more responsibilities, more accountability. They were probably going out to the properties more, dealing more with the sellers or buyers, and that means longer nights, early mornings, and doing a lot more than they were before because you had a bigger team or double the team. So that's impressive on how you've done that. So as a team leader and as the CC team, how have you, I mean, you're winning, okay? What you're doing by having these record numbers compared to a lot of other realtors and brokerages, how have you created this winning team? What is that mentality behind it? Because it is mindset, it is leads. And I've seen the behind the scenes when I've come in to do a seminar, webinar. You're always like, how do we regroup, focus? I've seen your post. It's like accountability. So I've seen where your mindset is like, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time, kind of thing. How have you built this winning team, and where did this all begin?
It began, I think with myself, going through the short sale. I had to give up my own house. I short sold it. I was in that position, again, it took, even though I was selling homes or getting homes under contract, back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, it took over a year to get most of them sold. So while I had 30, 40 homes under contract, I was dead broke because you weren't getting paid. So I, like a lot of other people, stopped paying my mortgage. I had to short sell my home. And that was kind of, that place was, I will never, ever want anyone in my world, in my bubble, to go through what I did. Like, if I have anything to say with it, people, they're going to be able to provide for their families. They're going to be able to, increase their living, increase their giving because of what real estate can do. And I believe real estate is just the vehicle. Real estate helps you build your wealth, pay off debt. I see people in our team, they feel so great about their first real, like, good income. They buy new cars, they get new homes for their family. There's just such a sense of pride. And when you watch someone from where they start and you're able to help them and their family's wealth grow, and you get to see, and it's not just about money, right? It's about what the money can do. You get to see them go on trips together. You get to see them take vacations. You get to see them pay for sporting events. And when you are able to help someone raise their level of income so they can provide an experience for their family, those are the things that never, ever go away. And we have that same feeling when it comes to our buyers and sellers. We're not here for a transaction. Like, we're here for them to have an experience. I hear people, they're like, oh, we're going to help get you through this together. Like, we're not going to start out that way. This should be the greatest thing that you do, is us help you make a ton of money on your home sale and buy your dream home and go through that experience. It really shouldn't be a process. So everything we do is just to service and to elevate. And part of, as the market changes, we've had to come up with solutions like some of those programs. And so again, when we're looking at our buyers and sellers, we have to look at them and say, what do they need right now? What do they need? If someone doesn't have a lot of cash and they need to upgrade their home, well, we need to find a solution. If someone's afraid to sell their home during the pandemic, we need to have a solution for that. So we came up with a COVID protection plan. So that's really what we're looking to do, is what do our customers need? What do buyers and sellers need to help them move forward? We're going to find a solution for that. And I think that's really helped us grow through each market shift.
Yeah, and I mean, that's incredible knowledge and information for people about what you do and how you do it. The one thing I really see with you, you're a boss. And so I feel like in the morning when you wake up, it's like boot camp begins at 6:30, and it's like, here, this is what we're doing for the day. Everybody's got to line up, get your things together. I don't know why I see it, but how, there's right. But there's a winning mindset with you though, CC. And is it just things that, I mean, I'm sure you do a lot of reading. I'm sure you listen to a lot of either podcast or audio, but how do you keep instilling that continuity, the consistency of having that winning mindset? Because there's a lot of realtors out there or brokers out there that they start it for a while, maybe the flame goes out and then they kind of restart it again. But with you, I just feel like when I see you every day, it's like, let's go, what's next? How do we keep tackling it? And you need to be here, be on time. And I've seen the team meeting. So, but how are you doing that? Like, where's that coming from?
And it's funny. I get that a lot. People, even my team members, they're like, CC, you're kind of scary, so I understand, like, that projection, but really when it comes down to it, is we bring on self-motivated individuals. So I've never wanted to be the leader, because I'm a firm believer, I cannot motivate someone. I might be able to get them excited, right? Motivation is short-lived, but there has to be already something inside them. So we bring people on, they need to be self-motivated. And it's my job to help them achieve what they want. So while a person can come in and they can sell 30, 40 homes on our team and be perfectly happy with that level of income, it's not my job to push them beyond. Yes, it's my job to help them think bigger. And if that's what they want when they're ready, I'm going to help them get there, their path. If someone wants to sell 100, 200 homes on our team, it's my job to help them get there, to fulfill that. If they want to build an investment portfolio, if we want to flip homes, so to build that structure where they can grow within us, That's my job. But it's not a whip thing, because we all have to do our part on the team. So I think where a lot of our success is, I say this to anyone that comes on our team, that you need to understand at a high level that every single sale affects a minimum of 7 people's income on this team. So if you don't take that personally, so the day that you choose to not pick up a phone, to not return that phone call, to not return the voicemail, to not answer that, you have chosen to take income from 7 people. And if that's okay with you, you can see yourself out. And that is a conversation that happens with every single person that comes on, because it is that like dog important to me that everyone know that we're working for each other.
So I will say this, you are motivating, because I remember there was something we were going to do, or we did in Nassau. And it was a seminar, and I remember I think it was on the way, and there was like a post, and I couldn't remember it verbatim right now, but it basically was like, line up, like, get your stuff together, and, it just, and so I think when people read that, it is motivating, because you do take the leadership role. And you're right, because when you're looking at it from the perspective of an employer to employees, in a way, it's like, you all have to do your part. You have to do this stuff. You have to follow up, you have to communicate, and when you don't, you can lose the lead to somebody else like that. I mean, it can happen really quickly if you're not doing things like that. So would you say this winning mindset that you have is setting you apart from the competition? Like, how are you differentiating yourself from the other teams and brokerages? Because you are. I mean, there is a way you do it. What is that?
I mean, a little bit of what I said was that we're truly out there for each other. It's not just an income development. Like I said, my mission is that the money that people make from real estate on our team goes to fund their lives, whatever that is, their travel, their dreams. And they believe and they know that that's my job. My sole job and purpose is to make sure that that happens. So I'm constantly looking at business partners and way we can develop relationships and coming up with new programs and things that they can use so that they win. There's nothing worse than going on an appointment, talking with a buyer or seller, and you not having any solutions to help that person, that you have to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. There's rarely going to be a situation on our team where an agent's going to talk to a buyer or seller and not have a solution to what they need, whether that be a cash offer to fix their home up, a rent to own, or to a program so they can buy a home before they need to sell, so they're a non-contingent buyer. Like, that's my job, is to make sure they have solutions so that they win more deals. And I think a lot of other teams, it becomes, well, I'm going to give you leads. And yes, okay, we're going to set appointments. You're going to get some leads. We're going to develop together, but there really comes in, I think the biggest part, it's easy to get a lead, but it's not easy to get them under contract, to get them committed to you and trust you, and to get it to closing. That's totally different. And to continue the relationship after. Our team is 61% referrals. We are repeat and referrals. And that means we do an amazing job of staying in touch with our customers after the sale. Like, we communicate over 100 times a year with our database.
Wow. So there is a lot that goes into all of this, and maintaining those connections and relationships.
Yes, all those events, the virtual events, it takes people and time to schedule and coordinate.
So, you brought up a great point, and a question that I ask in all of my segments now is, so you have these keys to success as a realtor, as a team. You brought up the point of trying to build rapport and trust with either the sellers or the buyers. How, like, I don't know if it's something you like just tell people, or they just got to do it and then learn from it, but how do you or the team build that rapport and trust with those prospective clients? Like, what is some of the ways that you can really be that authentic self?
I mean, you just said it. It's being authentic, and it's authentically caring. Like, do you actually give a crap about someone to where you can shut your mouth and you can listen to what they have to say, and you can ask questions and truly ask them what needs to happen for you to win. whether that be money, a sale, a time frame. And I hear a lot of times sellers will get to a listing, it had come off the market, and I've actually heard a seller say this to me is, I had a price in mind and the other realtor, it was way above, and I knew it was crazy. Like, I thought it was too high. I just wanted to sell quickly. And what they didn't hear, so what that service care, what they did not hear was that the homeowner wanted to sell fast. They didn't want to sell for more money. And I think a lot of times as an industry, that money and helping people make more money can get blinded by what a homeowner really wants, right? This is why Zillow offers, is why cash offers are so great, and it drives realtors nuts. But a fundamental thing that a majority aren't understanding is that they had a need. We did not have a solution. So that's why it is so important to me to always provide solutions, because when a homeowner says, I need convenience, my home is a wreck, I don't want to put it on, it's stressing, they're physically having an emotional moment about it, that we say, okay, you're right, this is for you. You don't need to go on the market. This is going to cause you pain. This is not what we need to do. So it's, I think, having that awareness and caring to listen, what do they need, and solve that problem.
Yeah, when I had Ron LeGrand on last week, when I asked the same question, he was like, "Al, it's not about trust. It's finding creative problem-solving solutions for these people, because it's not just that authentic, but it's that they want solutions. They want a means to an end, and they want it done." And then you bring up the point about Zillow and I don't know your feelings with where there was Open Door. I don't know where they went. They went out the door. I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but I remember a realtor telling me something about how, some realtors may approach the sellers and say, I can list it for top dollar price, but sometimes they don't, the sellers, they just want to get rid of it. They're not looking to maybe get that top dollar. They just want to get it off their hands, off the market. And I think it's a lot about the course of life, like listening and thinking through things. Are those things that you discuss with your team? Because I mean, I would think that if I'm selling a house, but I want to be on the same level. We have to be on the same understanding of what we need, right? It's all about the needs.
It is. And it's, again, when you are bringing on people, the great thing is we get to choose who we go into business with. And that includes anyone on the payroll or agents that come into business with us. If you're naturally not a caring person, it's likely you're not going to be a good fit for us. Like, sure, I could hire people who are going to run sales and just, be that typical salesy over the phone. That's not what we're looking for. That's not how I built my business. That's not the way we're going to do it. There's 1,000 ways to grow a real estate business. So the other way that I mentioned is not bad. It's just not us. And so we have to be true to who we are. And yes, it is. There is some education piece, right? There is a personality, there's mirror and matching, there's all of that ways to build connections with people. Because you can talk, it's everyone can talk, but very few people can communicate and be heard. And there are some psychological things that we go through and teach our agents how to do that. And then the rest is just them being authentic, them being them, asking great questions, and find a solution.
Yeah, I think all those are great values to have, and you have to be able to find solutions. Backing it up, though, before we have even gotten to the seller, this is a question that a lot of people get is marketing strategies. I think you are out of the box thinking when it comes to this stuff. I've heard you speak about this, like even at the team meetings. Marketing is extremely important, whether you're doing mailers, cold call, whatever unique thing, maybe social media, because I'm sure you are social media savvy. So what marketing strategies have you seen and done recently with the team, or maybe COVID now shifted? I mean, because you talked about the virtual events, maybe things were being done more Zoom or just online. But what things have you seen work for you to get those good leads?
Well, and not just the good leads, you mentioned something, to get people under contract is very difficult right now. Where our inventory in some areas is under 2 months, you're having 5, 7, 10 offers to compete with. You have to set yourself apart. So our team, we actually have a system of how we present in offers. So that our team members, when they're presenting an offer, it looks the same. no matter who is presenting, and that becomes known, right? That becomes comforting to a lot of agents. Building your professional reputation is, oh my God, thank you so much. Whenever we send an offer and the agent on the other side says, oh my God, thank you so much, this is so great, you've done your job well. And it's not about us like presenting the package. It's the reason we do it is because it makes the other realtor's job easier. So yes, there's marketing and branding of our properties. It's social media, it's videos, it's, you know, me doing dances on TikTok, it's education, it's 15 seconds of knowledge, you know, which I think did a lot for people who were just like, oh my God, they're looking at all the negativity online, and here comes, you know, this blonde chick dancing away for 15 seconds of like, but you would would be so surprised how many messages I get of people who are like, oh my God, I just can't wait. Like this, you know, these are so fun to watch, like truly helping people, you know, like number one, be educated and give a little 15 seconds of fun. But the social media, the emails that we do, the virtual events, the in-person events, you know, we had a cookie decorating our gingerbread house. It's how do you bring people together, whether it be open houses, virtual, you have to stay in front of people. And it's not just about posting. I see a lot of people post, they miss the engagement. I see a lot of realtors and teams, they have a Facebook page, but if you don't know what to do with it, then there's less for you. So making sure there's engagement, making sure you know how to run an ad and a boost, even putting photos on MLS. You know, I see people throw it up there with just no intention at all. And there's 5 photos of the backyard of the first 5. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if I was a buyer, what are the rooms that I want to look at? I want to look at the front of the home, the back of the home, the kitchen, the master bedroom, the master bath, and a family room. And maybe there's something really cool about the home, and then everything else, right? You put your decision-making photos first. So when we look at marketing and branding, there's nothing that our team does that it does not have a purpose behind it. Everything is done with intention, with strategy and research to back it up, of saying why we do something, why our listings only go live on Friday and not just any day you want it. It's because we've done research and we care about how we can pre-market. We've even done mailers in a low inventory. I love telling the story. We're like, okay, we can't find it. We cannot find the home. Well, we are going to find the home, right? So much is on the internet, but when it's gone and there's no inventory, now you have to rely on your realtor to go above and beyond. And so we sent love letters for our buyers who could not find property, and we got a home under contract. They were looking for something very specific. It was off market. And so we've been able to put a lot of off-market deals together and get referrals because they went and talked about it, and they said, look what my realtor did for me. They found my house. And I thought that was so cool, because back in the day, it used to be like that. You had to use a realtor. And now with online and Zillow being the primary source for buyers, they don't have to have a realtor, right? People choose to get into a home. And it's very different when your value proposition is extra, that someone could actually say, my realtor found my house. I thought that was just really cool. And we've been able to do that over and over.
And while you just said that, I thought of an interesting question. It probably answered it, but how are you doing huge numbers in a low inventory market and you're finding these solutions for people? So when it's such low inventory or no inventory, you're coming up with different ways. And that's what I really like about you, is you're creative and you will find the way. So people that are interested in joining the CC team know what they're getting involved with. They're getting involved with out of the box thinking. How do we solve problems and make it happen, even if the market is low with inventory or it's flooded with inventory? I'm sure there's a whole strategy with that as well. You open the door and you are the TikTok queen. You were conquering the TikTok during the pandemic. I think I remember it was like April or May, and everything shut down. And like every time I look, it's like a new TikTok, a new thing. Is she gonna do a TikTok on this podcast? I don't know if she's ready to do that. But talk to us about the TikTok method. Like, where did that come from? Because there was nobody doing that. Maybe there's like 2 realtors that I think I saw that were doing it, but you were doing it. Number one, what a concept, consistently. Okay. And number two, you were doing it with your personality. You're always bubbly and fun and moving around, doing your thing. So how did that all start for you? And are you still doing it?
I am. Yep.
Wow.
Still doing it. It is a lot of fun. And what's great, it's created a community of other realtors across the nation who are utilizing it. So agent referrals is a huge part of our business. We've gotten a lot of agent referrals from TikTok. They message us and say, I saw you on TikTok. I have a buyer to refer to you. Or it's a buyer that says, hey, I'm looking to buy my first home in 2021. I saw you on TikTok, and it's so great to have this positive community out there. And again, I did it mostly, right? It was an outlet for myself. So there were some selfish things in there that I liked it. And then I found a business use. I said, you know what? Here's a video editing software that's easy. I don't have to learn iMovie and all this stuff and Adobe. I can add text, I can add music, and it actually forced me to be very short and concise with the information I was putting out there, because you only get 15 or 60 seconds to deliver it. And it created this great value content. And I loved it. And we can repurpose it everywhere. We put it on Instagram and Facebook, and we can put it on YouTube. So now you have this great video content, and it's not for everyone. And I even post content out there. Everyone says I don't want to dance, but you don't have to dance. There's actually a lot of info that I give on TikTok where I'm not dancing and I'm using my voice.
Have you gotten a listing from any of the TikTok dancing?
Not a listing yet. I've gotten buyers. So
Ooh, okay.
buyers.
Okay, boy, that would be really interesting when all of a sudden you say, I got a listing from a TikTok video. That'd be, but you still got buyers, which is great on your end too. I mean, it doesn't really.
Listings on TikTok as well. I mean, that is an international platform. People forget it is not for just 6-year-olds. It is an international platform.
Have you been able, so now that I know that, because I did not know that, I don't know where I've been for the last 6 months. So are you getting international buyers? Are you getting some people from other countries reaching out to you?
Primarily, my base is US, primarily. So I think that may be market specific and your niche that you put out there. So mine right now is definitely local knowledge of a little bit of being a realtor, right? How to grow your business as a realtor, and also educating buyers and sellers is my platform. And I do throw listings up there. So if you wanted your brand or your niche to be just listings, luxury listings, I think you'd have a higher international buyer presence for sure.
Because yeah, when
research, you can't just throw things up there. You have to do some things with purpose and intention. And you said it, consistency.
yes, consistency. And when you keep doing it and you're not out of the picture, you're going to get your image recognized. And you're already ahead of me on that one. Niches, you're just the educating, being in front of everybody. I mean, that's super critical to doing what you're doing. It's amazing. Keep doing your TikTok thing. I don't even know what's next after that, but if that's what's working, and everybody finds a rhythm, right? Like you find your rhythm with what works. I mean, Facebook's been great for me. TikTok's working, and Facebook, I'm sure, has been good for you, doing speaking, whatever, being in front of everybody. And it also helps too when your own local community and people that you surround yourself with follow you, and they're like, CC's going after it right now. I mean, she's on fire with this stuff. I think
they're like, why are you dancing?
well, even at the REIF meeting that we had, one of the last questions, Gary Booth was like, is CC going to do a TikTok for us like right now? So what you've done is it's like a brand in a way, but everybody knows you are the TikTok queen when it comes to this stuff, the realtor TikTok queen on that one. You did a great job.
That's the importance. It's being top of mind, no matter how you do it, whatever your niche, whatever, speaks to you, it's being top of mind in everyone's mind. So your buyers, your sellers, the general public, people who are thinking of buying and selling, investors, because I love my investor community. It's just being versatile and being able to get on the same page as everyone. Like you said, even if I'm being known as the TikTok, their second thing, oh, you're on TikTok. The second thing that may come to mind is, oh yeah, but she's a realtor. She's putting out real estate information. I'm not asking people, hey, who do you know that looking to buy or sell real estate? Call me right now. I'm not saying that. And I don't do that. I'm top of mind for real estate because I am consistent.
You and I think alike. So you talked about the benefit, or I'm going to ask you this one. The real estate community has been amazing here. I came from Miami a year or no, 2 years. Time's flying. 2.5 years ago, and Miami doesn't even have this kind of investor realtor community as it does up here. Very family, business oriented, business friendly. Environment, and I love it. Like ever since I jumped in it, the Yellowbird meetings, the Jax Ria meetings, and then meeting you, and then we're doing speaking things at NEFAR, and then we're like doing like side things and like Nassau. What have you noticed has been the biggest benefit to you, either personally, professionally, of the real estate community, and where are you hoping things go from here?
I think it's always about relationships. You said Jacksonville is the biggest small town. Huge, but everyone knows everyone. They know who's good, they know who's reputable, they know who's not. And so I think you have a really unique relationship. It's all about education. You have to educate yourself. And so building the right relationships through Yellowbird with other realtors, there have been times where, we've won deals. I mean, I want a personal investment property because the realtor on the other side, I want to sell it to you, right? They're seller, and that was still a seller's decision, but the delivery of it was right there. This person is a professional. We're not going to get BS from this person, or we know that they're buyers, that they talk to their buyers. They know we have difficult conversations. We present our offers professionally. We have a professional resume from the very first time that we submit that offer. And that goes a long way with realtors and I think investors too, the whole idea is to win for your buyers, win it for your sellers, get the very best that you can, and for it to be smooth, right? Not be a complete crapshoot the whole way through. There's enough to go through. And I think when you build those relationships with each other, my reputation is very, very important to me. I'm always willing to help someone on the other side, even especially if they're new. And thank goodness if they tell me they're new, we're like, okay, well, what do you need? We will help you. It goes such a long way to just change of how we do real estate and treat each other, especially locally, because it will go around. And investors, I mean, they're just so great sharing. I've learned so much, and have built great partnerships in terms of listings, right? Investors have listings. They have inventory. They have off-market inventory. They're wholesaling. They're such an incredible resource that people who aren't in it, they're losing for their buyers. They're really losing.
Yeah, the investors are incredible. They're entrepreneurs. They're business minded. They're like, how do we get this thing done? Where are we going? They have the inventory. And you're right. It's so much of a different market than just the classic seller buyer. The listing that you may get, whatever comes in, it's a whole different market on its own. They have tons of inventory. They could have trust. They want to unload things. You never know. It's off market opportunities. And that's amazing that the real estate community in that sense has helped benefit your business. And then, you're working with everybody. It's always growing and connecting. I mean, there's so many things, and it's amazing. So when doing these deals, I always ask this question too. If the answer is probate, because we have to talk about probate at some point during this. If the answer is probate, you tell me and we'll go on that tangent. But when you're doing all these deals with your team, maybe you're bringing things to title, maybe you're doing things with the appraiser, the lender. There's so many different ways this answer can really go, because I just don't know, everybody sees it from a different perspective. You ask me, it's probably title, right? What is one of the biggest deal killers in your business that your team sees on a daily, monthly, yearly basis?
That is a great question. And honestly, the biggest deal killer I would say would actually be during the inspection period. And not necessarily the inspection itself, it's how the realtors deliver the information and how they set the expectation prior, during, and after. I really think the lack of expectation setting when it comes to what the report's going to look like, what things should be, what's normal and customary to be negotiated, and not just I'm going to win it, right? This ego that gets involved of I'm going to get it for my buyers. Okay, well, what we are supposed to do is help the buyers. We're not winning. It's not our house. It is not our house. It is. We don't need to show how much we can get for them. That's not okay, because at the end of the day, if what you could get for your buyer ends up losing it for your buyer, you've done a disservice. So we do a lot of counseling and educating, especially with newer agents. Like, we find sometimes they just don't know how to deliver the information of what's on the report. They're not used to seeing hundreds and thousands of home inspection reports. And while we have to stay in our scope, we also we have that benefit of experience, like I said, of thousands, literally thousands of, home inspections that we have seen, and we can talk, and we have resources and vendors to pull to make sure that they stay calm and educated. That is a very, very hot point in a transaction, that things go wrong. So if you don't have solutions for that, you're going to be writing more deals, showing more homes. And again, that's a value of our team. It's the experience of thinking outside the box. It's not just getting it under contract, it's getting it to closing. We help you win to get it to closing.
It's funny, I guess, again, it depends on who's answering this question. I've gotten from title companies, it's the appraiser, or I've heard it's like the liens or the lien search that comes back, and then I ask you, and that's the inspection, and then you ask me. It's like, it's, did the title insurance underwriter do what they were supposed to, because we can close this deal. And it's amazing. Inspection is always taking a role with the realtors. I mean, you have to make sure everything lines up. Great, you're under contract. Great, you came to your price. Is it even going to be worth it now? How do the walls? What's the roof look like? How old is it? How much money do you have to put into this? And there's so many nuances that go into that inspection that I haven't even seen. I think, when I was in Miami, there were a couple realtors that were, at the networking things, and I think one of them was doing vlogging at the time and talking about inspections. I thought it was a really interesting idea, because you tell me the word inspection, I'm like, oh yeah, they're just looking at the wall. When they were doing an inspection, they were videoing the guy checking out the septic tank, and he like had the tent over him. He was like videoing everything, but he was like, this isn't an inspection moment. I'm like, I never even knew that before. So everybody's got a different answer to that. And I'm sure you see so many weird things. You've seen some weird inspections, haven't you?
I mean, there's a lot of weird things. I said, there's no way that I think anyone should really have ego in real estate, because it's always changing. Our contracts are changing. What the buyers want change. Their expectations change. Same thing with the sellers. There's so much change going on that you really have to be like a study of your own craft. I'm sure, maybe you're shocked, maybe not, about how many people, if you would ask, and I always say this to sellers and to buyers, you must interview. If you don't interview, then there's no telling what you're going to get with your experience. And one of my pro tips on how to see the professionalism of your realtor is ask them to read the contract to you, whether that be a listing contract or read the buyer contract to you. Have them actually read it. And if they can do it upside down and with ease, it's likely that either A, they've read it enough times, or they've been through it enough times, meaning they've gone through multiple buyers and sellers, so that they can educate you on the dates, the timelines, and the processes and the expectations to put you at ease. So many times I hear buyers and sellers, they're like, oh, I just signed it. I don't even know what I signed. That education piece is lacking. So that's one thing that I'm always big. And even when our agents, they come, they're like, hey, CC, like, what about this? I go, did you read the contract? Did you read it? Like, that's my go-to answer is, did you read it? What does the contract say? Right? You always go back to your contract. Not my opinion. What does the contract say? So that's just real important for any new realtors too. Like, take that time and read it over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, these people can't be signing these contracts and not know what they're getting into.
They do,
And
because they trust their realtor, right?
right.
Trust
Yeah. And there's and there's contingencies in there, whether it's lending, whether it's inspection, when you can get the deposits back. There's so many different nuances in the contract that they all have to be well versed with it. And NIFAR offers those classes too. Yeah, you know, and so many should be well versed with that. And I know at the CC team that I'm sure they definitely talk about this stuff, right?
Do. And the other side of the deal gets mad. We've had several of our sellers that we've won binders for because the buyer's agent did not educate their buyer on their dates and timelines and lost the binder for them. So we always, this is one of our little quotes. We're like, it's not a problem until it's a problem, you know?
Right, right. And of course, why does it have to get to a problem, right? It should be solved before it gets to that point.
Know your dates and timelines, but in real estate, if you make a mistake, there's going to be something expensive involved.
Oh, for sure. And the same goes for what happens when you do your own deeds and what happens when you do your own power of attorneys and estate planning, right? Everybody starts messing that up. And then in the world of CC and Al, we find out that they get under contract, they bring it to title, and the next thing you know, they're saying, hey, there needs to be a probate going on here. And everybody's like, what is that? Like, what? Oh, we've heard it takes forever. And you know, it's a crazy process. And tell me about the wackadoodle wild world of probate for you. Like, you know, you've heard me talk about that. I remember doing the speaking thing and you were sitting there and I know you were thinking, wow, like what is, like, this stuff's not as crazy as I thought, or I've been down the nightmare road before. What are those probate nightmare successes that you've seen?
The biggest, I think, it's people not knowing who actually owns it. They have no clue, or they assume that there's a death in the family, it's mine. And we're like, no, 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 wait, wait, wait. Like, what has happened? Show me the document. Have you gone through probate? Oh, I don't need to. Oh, yeah, you do. They're like, there was a will. I go, no, 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 no. You need to go to probate. Just people jump starting, or it's mostly with children, right? Children, they come to us. That's the number one, is the children have inherited property, and it can be very, very messy. So making sure that we have you know, get our attorney, our go-to, involved, because otherwise we just, it helps us, honestly, for us. Now they have a professional, they have an attorney, they have questions, and it's like, this needs to get done the right way, because once it goes under contract, when you get a buyer that needs to close in 30 days, but you don't find out until after it's under contract that there's issues, that's bad. And we've been on the buying side of that, where the listing agent, they're like, oh, this person doesn't own it. Like, you have to show that you legally own that property in order to sell it. Just because someone said it's yours or the will doesn't mean that you can sell it. So that's why we do partner with you, is to help people with the things that we don't completely understand, that's out of our scope, but we know need a professional. Again, we got to make our jobs, everyone's job easier, everyone's life easy. We want to get it to closing and not have hiccups. And the money distribution, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, for sure. Like, who, yeah, who gets the money and how it's distributed and when are they getting it, timing. And so that's interesting. The basically the legal authority about like who really owns it. And it's why I'm always a big proponent of, okay, you can probably get that contract, but make sure you bring it to title, because when title comes back and says, nope, you need to do 1, 2, 3 probates, now it's like all bets are off. Like, there's 3 that need to be done. You have to get this through because title insurance wants that a determination of heirs. They don't want to have somebody, and a lot of times they don't understand like why. And yes, it's about what the person that died had, and then the kids get it. But then on our end, the real estate end, what they don't get is that we have somebody called the title insurance underwriter who tells us everything that needs to be done. And if it doesn't get done, we're not closing, and we're all like, you know, freaking out. So they want that kind of stuff done. It's a title requirement. So I'm really glad you brought that up. It's about authority and who has it. And have you found that now probate isn't as crazy and bad as it once was declared?
Well, I tell you how much we've learned, that the heirs and where things go, the up and down and wide and back, and that was just so important, because that's not anything you're taught, right? One of the million things you're not taught in real estate school is how to sell real estate. And this is one piece of that is when you don't know, just don't assume that it is like any other deal, because it is never like any other deal.
No, and if you get the right people and you ask the right questions, I tell people that probate real estate is just another real estate transaction with a puzzle, and everybody can kind of help figure out what the puzzle is. We can get moving to the next side. So it's a really interesting niche that I know you've seen and you've heard and we discussed. So there's so many crazy stories. So I couldn't go off the show without two of the other things that you really wanted to cover. Definitely was the rent to own program and the home renovation stuff. Tell us a little bit about that for people that are interested in joining the CC team, that want to learn more about this, that, they're loving the CC right now.
Well, I hope so. I will be fast on that just to give you a little snippet. But again, this is all about solutions for our buyers and sellers. And a lot of times when we meet buyers, we get them pre-approved. The lender, it's either their credit score isn't right or they don't have enough funds, are the two main reasons why buyers can't buy. So we came up with a solution. I found a partnership was introduced to me by an agent that is a rent to own. So essentially, this is perfect for buyers that do have jobs. Their credit score only needs to be a 550. They have very little money up front, and we partner with a company that will buy the home cash for them up to $350,000, and essentially a portion of their rent each month goes towards a savings account so they can have a down payment and closing costs within 3 years. And you can choose to buy the home before the 3 years is up or at your 3 years. It's really a nice, legitimate lease option program, but you get to look at the home, you get to choose the home, it's inspected, it's just fantastic. And then our home reno program is for our seller solutions, those that need a little cosmetic love. And we know the kitchen and bathrooms, you have to please buyers in kitchen and bathrooms. So we're willing to front our money to make your home look beautiful. So not only does your home sell faster, and for more money, right? That's all about building your equity. So that's just one way. Again, as a realtor, people are always questioning, well, why do we have to pay you? Well, one, we are going to help you make more money. That's literally my job as an agent helping a seller. If their goal is to make more money, and I can walk in their home and I can say, all right, if we put $10,000 here, that I can raise your equity. Maybe you make 10,000, maybe you make 15,000 more dollars in your pocket, then I have done a great job. And again, as long as everything else, if that's their main goal, then here's our solution. Man, if only I just don't have the cash. That is a problem with a lot of sellers is I just don't have the money. I wish I would have updated it before. Well, we can do that for you. So just depending on their time that they have to sell and all of those qualifications, we have a solution for them. And everything is just paid back at closing. It's a really great program. We've already run through it once with a seller and we updated their kitchen and bathrooms. It ended up being gorgeous. So those are our two quick programs. There's many more solutions that we have for our agents to be able to use it. Again, this is something that we offer for our people. We want to make sure that when they're with us, it's special.
And so for those out there that are interested in this, that want to reach out to CC, finding her on TikTok, finding her on the Facebook page, CC, tell everybody where they can find you. And also, and you basically said it, who are you looking for to reach out to you that says, I want to do this. I'm really interested in this. Because you said backstage, I'm looking for the ones that are going to hustle, they're going to grind, that are going to move and shake the tree. So tell us a little bit about that.
People have a misconception that you join a team if you can't make it on your own. It's actually completely the opposite. We want people who can be successful on their own. However, they see that what we have as a vehicle is going to get them there faster. So we're looking for self-motivated individuals. We're looking for people who do not have a huge ego that thinks they are the ones that do it all. No egos allowed. They must be humble, gritty. This is a tough business. You got to stick with it a long time. And you got to hustle. You have to be responsive. Number one, this is a service-driven business. So if you're not responsive, you're not a hustler, it's probably not going to be a good fit. So humble, gritty hustlers, self-motivated, and you really see a team as a place that you can stay for a long time and build a business.
All right. And so how do they find you? What's the TikTok name? What's
All social media, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me. You could just search CC Underwood, or feel free to call me directly. Our office number is 904-302-4800. And my email is cc, just like Charlie, at sellingwithcc.com.
Look at that. And so anybody that's looking for CC, that they know where to get you. CC, thank you for taking your time out of your day, talking with me. You are a wealth of information. You are the super realtor, super team leader, super boss, and super mom all in one. You are always doing so many things, and you are an amazing person. And I love always talking with you. I learn too. I get motivated. I feel like after this, I'm like going to line up. Like, where's the next thing? Yeah, I'm ready to do the next thing. So thank you again. And, sooner or later, I'm going to be having my own studio. It's actually, I'm going to be doing it. So when it's ready, when I get there, you're definitely going to come in, and it's going to be a really cool setting. So it's going to be more like not on Zoom, but like, look what COVID's done, right? Like I don't know if I'd be doing this if it weren't for COVID. I mean, maybe we do sit down stuff, but this has forced everybody to do this. So again, thank you again so much, and looking forward to it again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Al.
Okay, everybody, if you want more content like this, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti YouTube channel. I have videos on probate, quiet title, partitions, and of course, I'm going to have this podcast with CC Underwood, the full-length version, and you can check out the Facebook page, where it's going to have all the videos and micro content and clips of CC and my discussion with her. And just make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti YouTube channel, and I will see you next time on the Al Nicoletti Show. Take care.